Hey everyone, it's Abby, and this is your Friday video. What's gonna happen today is that I'm actually going to just give you a video that I did a really long time ago because I keep wanting to upload it, and I keep not finding time to upload it. So this is, I think, as good a time as any to upload it, and I don't want to wait too much longer, and then it'll become outdated. This is a video that I did like a little while ago, so don't judge it too bad. And I just never got a chance to upload it. I think this is the video that I didn't end up uploading that got me punished, which I'll do. Calm down. Keep your panties in your pants. In other news, John Hewitt is down here visiting for the day, Mr. Wednesday Boy, and so I've been hanging out with him. Not really. Whatever. He's mostly hanging out with Andy. So, I saw him. We ate dinner kind of together-ish. Although he didn't have dinner, he just had ice cream, which is a really good sign that he'll succeed in college. But, whatever. So, him and Andy are at the musical practice, I think. I don't know. So, that's nice, and I think I'm gonna try to do something a little bit with him. Also, Andy's cutting my hair tonight, so just pray that I don't end up bald or something. So that's happening. And in other news, I think that's about it. I will see Tej on Tuesday, and I'll see all the rest of you over the weekend, and I'll see John in like 2 hours. So, here's the video. Hey guys, it's Abby, and this is your Friday video. And I cannot do a frolicking Friday video because apparently Matt and Tierney just really don't like frolicking. I don't know why, it's weird. So today, I'm just going to have to concede to general consensus and give you your freaking awesome Friday video. And so, yeah. Tej, your dancing is incredible, and you danced to my jam, Red Cup, so that made me really happy. Thank you for that. Today, I am going to be giving you one of the awesomest lists in the world. The top 5 most disturbed artists of all time. Now, I know what you're thinking. Abby, all artists have to be disturbed. It's like part of the job requirement. Baby, I know. But I'm talking like really hardcore freaking disturbed artists. So, let us begin. Number 5. Rene Magritte. Now, this is one of my personal favorite artists, and he was a surrealist painter, which meant that he painted basically realism, but then he would just alter it and distort it just slightly so that it was really funny and really weird, and I really like his work, and you should all go look it up and look at it. But one of the things that he would do was he would never show his face. Always cover himself up, or he just wouldn't paint his head, and it was hysterical, and no one knew who Magritte was. But one of his motifs in his work, which means a repeating theme, was that he would draw people in everyday positions or in very intimate positions, but they would have this white cloth wrapped up around their head. And you think, oh, I wonder what that's a metaphor for. That's kind of interesting. Until you realize that it is because when he was young, his mother was diagnosed as a suicidal, depressed person, and they locked her in her room because that was the only way they knew how to keep her from committing suicide, and he would go and visit her all the time, and he was super close to her, and then one night, they left her door unlocked. She ran out of the house, ran down to the river outside his house, and she threw herself into the river and drowned herself. Young Rene Magritte was with them when they pulled her body out of the river, and her white nightgown was up, wrapped around her head, and that is where he gets the motif from. Oh my gosh, that's so weird! Number 4. Frida Kahlo, another one of my personal favorites, but not because of her work. I actually really dislike her work. I think it's really gross and gaudy looking, but I really like her because she has a unibrow and a mustache. And Frida Kahlo had a really sad life, and I won't go into all the details. She married a womanizing other painter who treated her really horribly, and they fought a lot, and he was kind of abusive, and then he was like other women, and she was all like, why don't you love me? She also had a really bad habit of painting her head onto animals, usually animals that were being hunted down and killed. But one of the most important things about Frida Kahlo's life is that she was in a bus accident once because the bus crashed into another something. I don't remember what, but it crashed, and she was impaled in the stomach by a pole from the bus, and it went through her uterus and out the back of her back, and then from then on she couldn't have children, obviously, because her uterus had a giant hole in it and they couldn't fix that. So in almost all of her work are these symbols of baby monkeys and red string and fetus shaped things. Number 3. Van Gogh. Now, I know what you're all thinking. Van Gogh? He should probably be number one. But wait, I have better ones. Van Gogh had a lot of horrible things happen to him. He fell in love with a woman and she didn't love him back. And then he tried to stand outside her house one night, held his hand over an open flame and said, as long as I can keep my hand here, let me see her. And then he burned himself really badly. He then fell in love with another woman and she died almost immediately. And then after that, as you probably know, he fell in love with a prostitute. And this is the most famous part about Van Gogh's life. He took a razor blade, chopped off his ear, and sent it to her wrapped neatly in a box and said, keep this to remember me by. He was nuts. After that, he went out into the fields that were in his painting so much, he shot himself in the chest. He survived after that for like 2 more weeks, and he was fine for a while, till finally he died from a raging infection in the bullet wound because they couldn't get the bullet out. And that's Van Gogh. Number 2, Edvard Munch. Now, Edvard Munch, unlike Van Gogh, did not paint beautiful things out of his madness. Like, Van Gogh was really crazy, but he would turn that craziness into gorgeous works. Edvard Munch painted psycho things. His most famous one is called The Scream, which you probably all have seen. It's become kind of sort of a universal symbol of human anxiety. And it's really disturbing, and a lot of things happened to Edvard Munch. His mother and his sister both died slow, horrible deaths of tuberculosis while he sat there and watched, so that kind of disturbed him. Matt, interesting thing about him that I think you will like is that he does not paint faces. He paints these beautiful figures, but unless they are either dying or in some sort of horrifying emotion like in The Scream, he will keep their faces blank slates, and it's really creepy. Really creepy. He married a woman, and the woman died almost immediately afterwards, and all of his children died. Edvard Munch. And the number 1 most horribly tortured artist in the history of tortured artists is Artemisia Gentileschi. Now I know what you're all thinking. Abby, I have never even heard of this artist. How on earth can she be more angsty than Van freaking Gogh and Edvard Munch? Well, let me tell you. This story is intense. Artemisia Gentileschi was a Baroque Renaissance painter, which means that Baroque was right at the end of the time of the Renaissance, and so she was a female painter, which naturally was hard anyway in that time, being a female painter in the Baroque era, but she did it, and she was quite good at it. And so one day her father and an artist friend were getting together, and her father was like, hey, do you want to tutor my daughter? And the artist friend was all like, sure, I can do that. So he began to tutor her. So the first tutoring lesson that they had, he raped her horribly. And then after that, he convinced her to continue letting him rape her on the promise of that he would marry her and restore her honor. But he didn't when she asked, and then after that, he just told everybody that her house was actually a brothel house, and that her and her brothers and sisters and her father were all whores that sold themselves to the people, and that she had been promiscuous with many other men before him, which was not true. And then after that, they went to trial for it, and the trial took over 7 months, and during that trial, Artemisia was tortured horrifically in details that I won't go into. And then after the trial was over, the judge technically sentenced the guy that raped her a bajillion times to a sentence, but then he paroled him immediately afterwards, so the guy got away scotch-free. After that, Artemisia's work became very dark and feminist-centered, and she took out a lot of her anxiety on men in her work. So I'm not actually going to show you many of her works because it involves a lot of, like, Judith beheading a man and things like that, and it's really nasty. But anyway, that is the most disturbed artists in history. I hope you learned something about this. Everybody go look up Magritte because he is the best. Tej, your dance made me happy. Jonathan, I kind of miss you. Matt, I really miss you. Tierney, you are adorable and you're my Fiji mermaid. Ah! Tierney, I will see you on Monday. Artemisia Gentileschi, let me try that again. Was tortured horrifically. Wait, let me do that again. My band-aid is Phineas and Ferb. It's so short. I have no hair. Crazy cakes.